Welcome everybody to Con and the Duck. It's Daily Walsh, also known as Dewey Duck, and we're here with Jamar, who's the con, but he's much more than a con. And if you've been following us, you know, and if you don't, well, you can catch up as we go along. But basically, hi Jamar, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Dave?
I am doing much better as ever. I do much better every day. So everything is optimal, and in the first 9 episodes of Con in the Duck, we went to my Live Love program, which is learn, integrate, validate, explore, and then listen, observe, open, value, and express. So those were the 8 steps we went through, and I'd encourage, if you're interested in finding out what Live Love is about. I think it's a very good opening to it. But today we're switching gears to Jamar's program, which is called Adversity into Advantage. Is that
Turning
correct?
adversity into advantage. Yeah, it's part of the
And
Right and Freedom program.
so take it from here. You tell us about the program, and we're probably going to be doing this for the next 12 episodes. So buckle in your seatbelts and get ready because it's going to be quite an adventure.
So, turning adversity into advantage, that came about through, well, it has a backstory, but the actual, what we'll be going through came about because Pastor Lewis had requested that I put together a book for his ministry for a point of change. He does has a nonprofit with his jail and street ministry. So I had already had previously some writings that started out where me and a brother were supposed to be putting together columns for his magazine, and then he also encouraged me to do a newsletter. So I had the 4 columns for his magazine, and he ended up going off to camp. So I used that and turned that into a zine, which is a small
Right.
form of magazine. And then I also did that also with the newsletters. So I've been had
What
this.
kind of newsletter? These were like in prison newsletters.
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. So it's everything was directed for that population. So
Oh,
when I wrote it, it was. Go ahead.
no, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was just thinking, since we're beginning a whole new chapter in the podcast, maybe you should go back into the backstory a little bit. Just like a 2 minute summary. You don't have to go deep, but just give the new viewers a an idea of who you are and where you're coming from with the Adversity into Advantage program.
Yeah, so for anybody that doesn't know, J.S. Russell, once upon a time was the prison poet, now I'm the freedom poet. But much more than that, I was incarcerated for 12 years. I had a life all suspended but 50-year sentence. And, there were remedies, in which I mean remedies like I could have got a modification and lowered my sentence, or you know, won a post conviction appeal. These are what you call remedies, which also different appeals or stuff that I could have did for my life, but that wasn't the case. I wrote myself out. I got awarded a chance through the reentry court in PG County, which at one point in time they weren't doing what they are doing now. But it's through these books, it's through this work that I've done that, excuse me, that I've been able to advocate for my freedom. And that's what I suggest a lot of people to do. And what we'll be doing through the Turning Adversities to Advantage is basically using the things that I felt have helped me, be able to write myself into freedom, the goals that I needed, the things that I needed to do and the goals that I had to set in order to properly prepared for my freedom. And as of right now, I'm a employee of Prince George's County Health Department, mentoring the youth as well as the owner and founder of Conscious Growth Inc., which is my nonprofit. Also, Inspiring Word LLC, and I'm also a facilitator with the Chris Wilson Foundation. All of these jobs dealing with those populations, whether it's youth, returning citizens, and I plan to be the example so that more men and women can be able to have a chance at having their freedom and being able to prove that they've been productive citizens. And with that deal, the actual poem that I wanted to share was "Let Me Be the Example."
Okay, sounds
So,
good.
let me be the example of what to do and not to do. Let me be the example to show my love for you. Let me be the example to show you how to endure hard times. Let me be the example of how to use your mind. Let me be the example so hopefully you'll understand. Let me be the example to show you never stop growing as a man. Take my example.
Beautiful. I definitely resonate with that in my role as the schizophrenic example of someone who's, even if it took 50 years, I got to the other side so that other people don't have to take 50 years.
hmm Definitely, definitely. And that's the whole thing. Um, to be able to show other people, what's possible. And, it's just the beginning. I've been out for 2 years now, you know.
Right. And you've done amazing things already, Jamar. It's and I was much more introspective. I just like basically created for 50 years, and
No, that's
talked to
right.
people as I needed to. But now that I'm coming into the world, I have like a total oeuvre, that I can present to the world. So there's basically a finished product is Dale rather than a developing product that it took 50 years to finish.
hmm I mean, but still, the amount of books and stuff that you've done, that takes a lot because it's a lot of people out in the world and they don't do that. And I hear that a lot, with the work that I've done incarcerated or the work I've done here. It's a lot of people that been out here that haven't done that, and it's not that I'm in comparison. It's just, we all do what we need to with our lives.
Right.
We on different paths to be able to accomplish different things. So,
And
you have a poem to share?
I do, and one thing, when I was looking at the lesson about freedom and everything, and you were talking about freedom, I thought that it's like very important to have a discussion of what I see as freedom versus freedom, which is basically life under the warlord as opposed to life under a free nation. So this goes back to like 2018, which is right in the middle of you know, Trump's first term. And for those who say that I'm a turncoat and everything, because well, my feeling about Trump, and I don't want to get into a political discussion, but my feeling about Trump at this point is he's in office for the next 4 years, so quit belly aching and
hmm
let's see what he's going to do. And he is bringing change, and people hate change. But anyway, this is, so basically, and as I emphasize, I voted for neither Trump nor Harris. I voted for myself. So, uh, but this is like a testament to how much I dislike Trump in 2018, and it's a reflection on the country, and I think it's like a good starting point to talk about freedom. So, what happened to the United States? Trump has not been indicted for treason, and I suppose there is a good reason, which is that the Republicans have built a safe house from their overwhelming guilt, where they have hid for destroying the rights and made this nation true beacon of hope through both peaceful days and desperate nights, as against foes of freedom it did cope, even while noble soldiers' blood did flow. During wars we fought for pure liberty in distant regions on both land and sea. making some concept of equality grow, which now has become a disgraceful sham. For ashamed of nation I truly am.
Hmm.
So now I'm just shutting up and seeing what develops and concentrating on deneglecting that community. I don't believe in Trump. I believe in you, Jamar.
Hmm.
And Andrew would say until we meet in person, yeah, I can't really believe in you. But anyway, but I don't. Trump is just like something that's projected on the screen that everybody believes. And that's one that I mean. I was thinking about freedom. In the first exercise in your program, and basically, I feel that no one's been free since 1913 when the Federal Reserve was set up and the control of the wealth of the nation was turned over to the bankers, to private bankers. And basically, and Rockefellers and all that, it's all like a octopus tentacles reaching into every facet of American life. But it really like culminated in 1929 to, of course, 1945 and the first atomic use of atomic bomb. But that to me, that bomb was like the beginning of Fred,
Hmm.
who was the warlord that that I was fighting privately for 70 years until I realized how big he was. And but there is Freddom, which is freedom through force, and then there's freedom, which is freedom through love. And I think that's a very important distinction to make. And I have a sense of what you mean by freedom, meaning someone who's been incarcerated and been behind walls and everything, and that's your basic freedom of mobility. But that ultimately freedom is in the mind, and I think that we tend to see freedom in terms of freedom, which is war and death and everything bad that we're rising out of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, let's rewind because I don't mind, going a little bit off script when we talked about the Trump thing. I was sharing people like with this. While I was in, there were multiple wardens that came on the facility. They came, they left, but there were people in prison that had large sentences. Some of them had life sentences. Some of them had multiple life or life plus sentences. They would still be there. People will come. They might change whatever's going on for a while, but things would go back. Usually, when people took things, they didn't necessarily bring it back, but it'd be the same thing if all different officers came to run a certain building or unit.
Mhm.
Things would change for a while, but then they go back. And I look at that just like with these, political offices. People still have to live in this country, in the states, in the different municipalities. People come and go, So it's just a matter of figuring out how best to deal with it. Because, I mean, regardless, we still got to live through it. Now, the things that everybody can be doing as far as becoming more aware and, active in it, that's up to us. That's our responsibility. However, a lot of people aren't even aware of the various things that they need to with these political office because they're dealing with their day to day life. So, as
No,
far as go ahead.
no, no, I agree. But the thing is that freedom is restricted by the programming, the advertising, the constant stream of information that basically overwhelms everybody. Unless you're like very conscientious. And my I just came up with a definition of freedom. That's what I'm going to ask you, Jamar, is what your definition of freedom is. But to me, true freedom is anarchy with awareness.
Mm. Anarchy with awareness. Excuse me. Okay. For me, of course, when I was writing it, it was, be free from incarceration. But to take it another step forward, I also would need to be financially free, right? Because I I took it, and we'll get to that. You'll see it in one of the other lessons when it talks about what's free, and I quote Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. He had it in his book. He say, "Freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want."
Right.
And of course, because of my situation and what I want to be out here is definitely within the law. you
Right.
know, so that's pretty much it. Like being confined and being, I'm saying, restrained for a significant amount of time. Just want to be out, want to be able to live, want to be able to do the things, and it's not just being free behind those walls. Because if I was free from behind those walls and didn't have the means or didn't have the mind to do certain things, then I still would be kind of stuck and confined in a way, you know. So that's what I mean, as far as that, because there's could be people out here and they still confined, you know, just as well as there could be a person in there and experience, various levels of freedom. I would read my books and, travel, go to various time periods, go to various countries. And, it was something that allowed me to even pick the brain of various people. So, it's deeper than just where you are physically. And, so, but yeah, what would
Well,
you,
would you, or have you considered the fact that, I was talking with a good friend of mine who I'm sort of like, sort of like dancing with business deals with, and he's a black guy from very educated from my boarding school and everything, and he was talking about racism and everything, and how Trump is. Well, I don't want to go into Trump, but basically, it just made me realize that, uh, you know, freedom is like so multifaceted. It's not only like financial freedom and mobile freedom, or it's just as much about spiritual freedom and freedom from external things like sexism and racism and everything. And I don't know. I just thinking, as someone who was physically constrained for so long, uh, did you find a freedom within? I mean, I think that's pretty obvious because you wrote your way to freedom, but what freedom did you find within that allowed you to have the faith to follow through to achieve your dream of getting out?
mm, I think it was just basically after understanding. I mean, there's the faith, but then going through, well, not no but in addition to faith, or absolute faith, and after looking at what other men in the past have done, and not just men, human beings. So there have been other people that have done far greater than just come out of prison. Nelson Mandela did 27 years and became the president of South Africa. But really, I look to the story of Joseph. You know, that was a
Absolutely.
great example for me. And for anybody that watches it doesn't know the story of Joseph, he was a dreamer. He shared his dream. His brothers was jealous not only of his dream, but how he was favored. And, they were going to kill him. One of the brothers that spared him, they took his coat, his beautiful coat of colors, put some blood on it, put him in a pit, sold him off into slavery, and then gave the coat to the father and said he got killed. Basically. And from there, he went from years in slavery to years in prison, where he also was able to be interpret a dream, and help himself get out. He went from also serving in Potiphar's house as his right hand man nearly, and then his wife
Your
had told
wife.
on him, and then put back in prison. And you know, after interpreting the dream, he ended up being able to be in a position, up there with the Pharaoh to be able to save Egypt out of famine. So that was a great example. And it was just like, okay, let me prepare myself. Because it wasn't like I lacked education or I lacked anything, So it was just like, okay, let me figure this out and do what I need to do. Because I seen with my previous mistakes where that got me,
Right.
So had to switch it up. But that was one of the things that I always looked towards. And I'm gonna say it's great when you have an example like that, because I was in prison where I end up going from the sanitation job to the kitchen to working in the school building to in an MCE shop, which is Merlin Correctional Enterprise, where I went from starting out in inventory to ending up in validation, where I did the stickers, to being a lead in validation, which I managed a $3.2 million contract, and with a 11-man team. And no, it wasn't to the right hand of the warden or anything, but also did ITV, which I was able to, share
Right.
things with people on the compound. So not quite doing what Joseph did, but taking that model and creating a way for myself. And that was something that was very, very helpful in accomplishing what I was able to and being able to get out. So,
I think one thing that's significant about the Joseph thing is that Joseph wasn't just a son of anybody in the Bible. He was the son of Jacob, who was Israel, who was the
hmm
father of the 12 tribes of Israel. So, and just like an addenda to your story, when the drought hit and everybody
yeah,
was
he was able
was
to save his
dying,
family.
they came to Joseph, not knowing it was Joseph, their brother, who they like thrown into the pit and sold into slavery. And he was like the top guy. He was like number two to Pharaoh. And Joseph forgave. I mean, after a tearful reunion, Joseph forgave everybody. But then, and then there was like another subplot that was about like Benjamin, I think, about how Joseph like detained Benjamin, who was like the most beloved of Jacob, and
hmm
so. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I've often referred to the story of Jacob and Joseph, but I don't want to get sidetracked here. This is your presentation. This is your lesson, Jamar. So I've been sort of monopolizing it, but take it away. You know how what I saw the lesson, and you wanted us to write down 10 goals, and we were talking about freedom, and do you think that's like, I mean, base, do you think it's legitimate to like distinguish between freedom and freedom? I think it's like a very subtle but important distinction, because basically ever since 1929 we've been under the control of the military, and that's changing now that Fred, who was the keeper of the M16, Eternal M16, is dead. So uh, basically, we are now under the guidance of love, not guns. And I think that's a basic return to fundamental American freedom that we haven't had for a long time. I don't think in any of our lifetimes we've had that.
Well, we have more guns than people in this country, right?
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but the power I'm talking about, like military and war, nations and wars and everything. is like that the M16 isn't in the hand of the aggressors; it's in the hand of the protectors.
I hope so. Cause I really haven't been in touch as much for what's going on around the world, but I know that there's still military occupation in different places, and not that I've seen it. It's just that that's how the world has been going for so long, and I
Right,
mean, we're usually the ones occupying, so
right.
so it's just crazy like that. But question: do you think I should read uh the actual writing part and go into the goals, or
Well, I thought we could share the screen, and that's what I was trying to see if I could do, is
okay?
share the screen. So let me see if I can do this. Uh, okay, so let's try here. Uh, uh, great. Okay, let's
I was gonna say if you can, I can try.
can do you want to try? I don't know if you can because you aren't the host, but uh,
Let me.
let
Okay,
me
let
see.
me.
I know what I can do. Let me see if I can do this. Um, translate, print, save as. Okay, save as. Um, uh, uh, whatever. Okay, save. Okay, so now let's go uh to down. Uh, uh, oh no. So well.
It's not allowing it.
We'll have to edit that out. But
Let me
yeah,
send it to
I
you.
don't know how to share the screen on
All
this.
right. Well, let me.
Maybe I can like make you co-host or something, or
Let's just see if it allows it. Can you see my screen?
I can. I
Okay.
can.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Okay, great.
this is
Okay,
the
good
book
job.
Turning Adversity into Advantage right here. So it goes into dedication, everything, the introduction, kind of about what I was talking about, how this even came about. But this is the part writing. What is mightier, the pen or the sword? Think about what each is capable of. Both are tools, however, one has the power to create as well as destroy. Which one? We live in a country where documents such as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are treasured for what was written and the power of the words in regards to the people who it was written for. One of those documents could have meant death for every person who had something to do with it because it was treason, but instead it became freedom for them and a nation. So, for anybody that doesn't know, we're talking about the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
Yeah, so
And how the Continental Congress would have been all hung immediately if the British had won.
knowing how powerful words have been throughout history and how valuable writing has been to those who have learned to use it to craft art or will power, I want to make sure I cultivate my ability to write myself into obtaining my goals. What are my goals? My goal is freedom, a fulfilled life where I can enjoy good health, happiness, family, and experience many beautiful things. How will I accomplish this? By writing. I am following. How will I accomplish this? By writing. Excuse me. I am following the examples of many great men and women who have come before me. Not all were the greatest writers, but they had produced great works, and it came from them doing. So, in short, I'm just going to do it. So, what is this all about? If you are reading this, it's a good chance that you're in a situation like me. I'm just sharing information that will hopefully help you get to where you want to go. I've been writing down my thoughts and ideas to formulate a plan of how I can get free. I've spoken to people I constantly read and I go to work on what seems like the best course of action. Construction generally begins with a blueprint. Business generally begins with a business plan or mission statements. Why should building of the life I want be any different from the building of a Fortune 500 company? It's not. I'm just using the proven formula. I'm writing my freedom. So the exercise is, in the previous reading, the author describes goals. What are your goals? Write 10 goals. And then after that, now for every goal, write how you will accomplish them. All right. So you said you wrote down some goals, Dale. What you want to
I
share?
I did. I wrote down two sets of 10 goals. One was basically top of my head, and second one was a little more thought out. But it was all done within 15 minutes. So it's a very spur of the moment. So
Cool.
the first list is 10 goals. Dooster Mansion on Doc's property. That's where I build my great house on the old property where the program was, which is now like totally unsettled and wild. So up on Prospect Avenue in Hackensack. That's going to be a big mansion. And then second, $1 million by January 1st, 26. Third, Madison Square Garden sellout by July 4th, 2026. Fourth is 10 kilograms of gold, which I guess would probably be worth about $1 million. Five is maintain darkness, which is my apartment, and get it painted and really make it look good. Um, make in-person friends. So that means traveling and getting out and meeting other people. Seven, reach 1 million TikTok followers by birthday, which is May 24th. So, and then uh, eight is 10K followers for uh, for Do Andrew Conspiracy, and then nine is at some point have $1 million a month income and 10K followers for Con and Ducks. So that any reactions or I my what I've learned at Jamar is you just dream big and you let God make it happen. You let the
There you
universe
go.
make it
There you
happen.
go.
So
I agree. I agree. Cause mine's, I think for the most part, are pretty much in tune. Pretty large goals as well. So you want to
I'd
hear
love
my
to
list?
hear those.
Huh?
Love to hear those.
Okay. So 625 million. And it's probably going to the backstory as to why I chose that number, but I did that after reading Tony Robbins' book on money, and
Okay,
I
and
think
what's the significance of a 625?
I think 625,000 income would allow me to afford the life that I needed. Like it was
Oh, okay.
something in the back that said you don't necessarily have to be a millionaire, but I'm like, well, if I'm gonna go after that, I might as well go after 625 million. So
Right, right,
it's been that getting writing freedom program into every institution, take Conscious Growth Inc. and Inspiring Word LLC International for Play Monopoly, and that's really what I say about dealing with real estate.
right,
Um,
right,
dive off a yacht into the Mediterranean,
right,
um, set up a trust and family office, create live from the pen stage play, um, create prison or poverty to prosperity pipeline, and that's the idea of basically adding a different type of education to help people. For the ones that's in prison, create that education in which they'll be able to transition in the poverty prosperity. A lot of the people that's I guess not as well off that can do better because they say 90% of crime comes from poverty. So if we change the mindset and change the people invest in them, then that can be different.
right,
Um, travel, enjoy every island in the Caribbean, and be last be a great philanthropist.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not only be a great, but a grateful philanthropist.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's and I actually, if ever you get a chance, I'll send it to you too, Dale. Steve Harvey has this thing on his it's a YouTube channel called Vibo. Visualize yourself beyond ordinary. And he talks about, the vision board and writing down your goals. But he suggests that you write down 300. And I did. And I probably should have gotten that notebook out ahead
300
of
goals
time.
you talking
Yeah,
about?
300 goals. So I actually did, and he was just like, do that and go after a year, see how much I'm saying that you've accomplished. Now, the whole thing about writing down your goals or writing anything is that it says that it makes it 42% more likely for it to happen. So that's one of the things is just us giving ourselves an advantage, giving ourselves whatever type of help that we can to accomplish those things that we have in life. And then by listing it, you can go back and read that. And one of the great books, Think and Grow Rich, they suggest taking stuff like that, whatever you want, once you have definite a purpose, writing it out and reading it to yourself, day and night. A lot of
Right.
times people don't do that. I've tried it. I'm not sure to what time periods I've been successful at doing it, but I've done it. Like everything that I could find that I felt that was within reason, if I read and I said it's going to help me with my chances, I'm like, let me try it. I mean, what did I have to lose? you know?
Absolutely.
So, the next part of the question was,
So what?
actually,
So
go ahead.
I just want to like say, Grant Cardone. I mean, you're talking about like write down 300 goals, and what Grant Cardone. I'm sure you know who Grant Cardone is.
Yeah.
He's like the most successful sales trainer in history until Russell Brunson came along. But basically, Grant Cardone has been telling people for years every morning when you wake up, just write down 10 goals. And it doesn't have to be for the day or for any time frame or anything. Just write down 10 goals. And then, you know, if you do it every morning, you can go back after a month and really see like what stands out of what you wanted and everything. And
Yeah.
he suggested that as a way to figure out really like how to focus and how to target what you do want rather than just getting distracted.
Absolutely. So, um, in those goals with the 300, it was, establishing inspiring word, establishing conscious growth. Like I'm in the process that all of that is done. Will the the whole 501(c) status for conscious growth isn't completed, but everything's been initiated and it's working towards that. So it's great to know that I'm actually in the place where those goals are becoming a reality. So,
Now,
um,
are you doing all this yourself, or you got like help from other people?
it's always help. It's always help from different people. So I actually had signed up for entrepreneurship class, and one of the requirements to get the funding that they had at the end of it was to start a new business if you already had an existing business or start a business. And so, being that I already had Inspiring Word LLC, I said, let me go ahead and start Conscious Growth because I had been writing for that. Like, Conscious Growth, when I'm saying, came from a conception from when I was in
Right.
high school. So, it's coming into reality, all of these things that I wanted to do. So,
I,
go ahead.
this is more like a side, tangent a little bit, but Coach K, you said you got a grant. Was that through because of the coaching she gave you, or was it sort of like more random?
Well, I still haven't completed the list of the 17 things that was needed
Right.
for, and I really appreciate, but no, this wasn't through that. Um, this was okay, so since I've been home, I've been awarded various things, but they weren't through that process of applying. Um, I've won $1,000 through a pitch competition through EDAC, which is out of Morgan University. They're teaching entrepreneurship. Um, I got awarded 5,000 to help with Inspiring Word, and that came through RCAD, which is Returning Citizens Affairs Division, which I was able to basically. I got my books and did a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the Evening Reporting Center with DJS, and was able to provide them with books. And I've used the books, gave them out in schools and stuff that I've been able to go and volunteer and speak at, or, use them, for my business when I would go and do spoken word. So, that was great. And that really just came about through being around all the time and people seeing what I was doing and wanting to help me, And then the one that I'm waiting on came from the accelerated course. Well, no. Okay, the accelerated course through the entrepreneurship is supposed to come with 5,000. And this last one through Safer Stronger Together, that was something that I actually applied for, but that was through PG County. And
Okay.
so I still have tried the Hello Skip and stuff like that, but I haven't been as diligent about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Uh, to tell you the truth, I have like about a 2 month, 2 to 3 month attention span to those things, and
yeah.
just we're like, okay, well, move on, And
Hmm.
some people say I can't stay focused, but I don't know. I just like to absorb the knowledge and see where it takes me, and if the program works or not, it's sort of irrelevant because I know that I'm like just absorbing the information, and you know, and
Yeah.
I am improving my reputation as Dougal. That's what my friends and some of my friends in Hackensack call me Dougal because I'm Google of Hackens. I'm due as Google.
Hmm.
Uh, they can ask me anything, and I can generally answer.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Dougal. You got all these do's and doogles and
Yeah,
yeah,
sales and everything.
yeah, yeah,
Doing
yeah.
all sorts of fun things.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to hear my second list? This is like a little more considered.
Sure, sure.
First is $1 million by New Year's. Two is 10K followers each podcast. I didn't separate. I said I want both my podcasts to have 10,000 subscribers. Um, um, let me see. The maturation of something. Okay, well, maintain new duck nest. Um, travel 50,000 miles by January 1st, 2027. Uh, 1 million TikTok followers. Do Stewart Docs. Madison Square Garden SRO standing room only. July 4th, 2026. Um, and what was this? Um, Mary Rose and adopt Zaylin, her sister.
Okay, okay. Did do you want to go over how you plan on accomplishing that?
I'm just riding the surfboard of my Dale momentum, Jamar, and I'm trusting God's just going to like do it all for me. So I'm just sitting pretty and doing my daily hustle, my daily Dale to Dale contacts, and just seeing what's really being built. And I have no idea what it is yet, but I know it's going to be glorious.
And that's very strong faith. And then I know that you're taking action also, because they say faith without works is dead, and you've actually been producing these podcasts. So something's going to happen, and we just don't know that time period. But I'm hoping and rooting for you to do it in the time period in which you say. So,
Well,
like this 625 million, man, I really feel as though with writing freedom, the various books, and what I've done, what I'm doing with the prisons can definitely be something that can be a stepping stone towards that, as well as developing a real estate portfolio,
right.
consulting and such. And who knows what other business opportunities come from that. With the
That's where Grant Cardone really made his money. He was always having free seminars about real estate and everything, but
mhm.
he made like hundreds of millions, like through his sales trainings and everything. But he really made his money in real estate.
Yeah,
He owns like half of Miami or something, something like crazy.
exactly. So I mean, that's one of those things to reading Robert Kiyosaki and all of that, just knowing, how valuable, having that can be. The Getting Right and Freedom program into every institution. My plan is to make it a success where I'm at first. I'm in PG County jail, PG County Detention Center, doing it on a reentry unit. And so as I'm able to show that it's making an impact, then I'll let it grow. And also been in discussions with someone about potentially getting it out to as a pilot program in Kansas. So I'm hoping that
Right.
goes through. Take Conscious Growth Inc. and Inspiring Word LLC International will really is getting these pushing and publishing these books and then being able to get them into various translations, various languages as I promote and get that, uh, just get it more popular. I
Right.
definitely think that that's possible as far as the conscious growth thing. Just expand on that. I really considering doing like a whole little virtual place, where a person can actually, go and grow and seek resources to, you
What
know,
are you talking about? Like sort of like a retreat place or something?
um, virtually, yeah. And then who knows, man? I just have ideas. It's just one of those things where I want people to be able to have an environment like that, you know.
Right.
So
Well,
play
the
Monopoly. Say that again.
Like Monopoly, yeah. But before we get to Monopoly, I just want to say that this is a point in time that basically I think is unprecedented. Is that everybody is just like being flooded with like ideas and creativity and everything, and it's a matter of like putting things into action to
Hmm.
translate that creativity into like real world resources and assets that's going to really distinguish between the people who succeed and the people who just like stay. Nobody's going to fail. Everybody's just going to stay the same or like improve.
Nah, I agree. But having practiced this and putting things down on paper, I'm always, amazed at what actually happens. Of course, I'm doing stuff and putting things in action, but it's amazing to see where my life is now compared to where it was. So with the
Right.
playing Monopoly, I just recently went to a home buyers workshop, which I just got all the information to let me know that the things that I thought were holding or would hold me back would no longer hold me back as far as obtaining property. I would be at the health department at 2 years coming up in March or April. So that would give me the 2 years of work history and stability that I need when I start going about
Okay.
getting the property. Dive off the yacht into the Mediterranean. I plan on scheduling a trip for me and my lady around her birthday in March. So hopefully I'll
Good.
be able to check that box. Set up a trust and family office. I'm really building this stuff up because I felt as though if the resources and everything was there for me as a young person, I wouldn't have resulted in the jumping in the streets to commit crime. So I want to make sure that the family is good and have the resources so that the children could have access to the proper education and resources, and also that nobody has to do a GoFundMe in their passing.
Right, right.
They had to do that for my aunt Marcia and my father, and it's not that my father was a veteran, so he was taken care of by the VA, but in the interim, things had to be done before those funds was there. So I just feel like proper life planning is necessary, and that would be
Absolutely.
stuff that
And
we'll teach.
one thing is very advantageous to set up a trust fund at the beginning when you have very little, because that way the trust fund can grow and you can like allocate as you grow your wealth, you can like allocate into like the different parts of the trust that you want. But if you already have like a fortune, then it's like sort of like how do you like divide everything for the trust, So, that's one thing I learned when I was working with WFG is early planning, whether it's life insurance or trusts or whatever, it's very important. And you know, I would say that's a very good idea about building a trust because just like start the trust from just start it and then let it grow as it will organically.
Yeah, that's good information, and I have to pick your brain a little bit more about that. It's amazing every time we speak how much I get to learn. Um, Create the live from the Penn stage play. That's something I've been working on. I just haven't completed the script, and I want that to be able to use as a tool for marketing and promotion for everything that I'm doing. And it's just a matter of seeing that into its fruition. Create prison or poverty to prosperity pipeline. Something that's still in the making because I want to turn the penal systems into rehabilitation systems.
Right.
Where it's more focused on rehabilitation than punishment. And I mean, of course, you know, they're going to have their purpose, or they're going to be here. I don't think that,
They're going to have their agenda.
yeah, and I don't think that we're going to eradicate prisons, so to say that they're not going to be here. It's just making sure that they are serving the people and helping out.
Right.
Because I've found that it wasn't a lot of bad people. I wasn't around just sadistic, guys or nothing like that. I've been around a lot of people that made mistakes, and they made mistakes, you know, basically they was trying to find a way. So I seen that those lack of resources and lack of education had a lot to do with it. So it's one
Right.
of my things to see what happens once they have that, because I don't think nobody just generally wants to put their life in jeopardy or generally just wants to hurt somebody. You know,
And like the old meme says, God don't make no junk.
hmm, I like that. And travel and enjoy every island in the Caribbean. I would love that because there's so many. Saint Thomas, Saint
Right.
Lucia, all of these, and then blue water, white sand, palm trees. I love it. I'm sure I could probably even find a couple of cruises that can take me around, but that'll be
You can
something.
make it a two month trip just visiting the different islands.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
going in a circle and just don't go during hurricane season.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the big thing, knowing the timing of it. And then be a great philanthropist, man. I really believe in investing in people, you know. And I know different places in the world have their different customs, but I remember reading of the caste system in India, but then you see Slumdog Millionaire, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know how much people are confined to those various, but intelligence is everywhere. And
Right.
it's like if a person is able to be able, and sometimes it's not just the systems that keep people there, it's the thinking, but being able for people to be able to use their intelligence. And I think right now most of the I want to say texts or a lot of stuff come from India, dealing with the computers, and I forgot, yeah, like what is it, cyber security and all of that stuff,
Yeah,
everything. Yes,
cybersecurity.
when you
Even
have,
the hackers.
Yeah, so when you got that, you have a lot of people in Nigeria is known for doing a lot of scamming too. But if you have that type of intelligence to do the wrong thing, you got a lot of intelligence to do the right thing. So it's just
Right.
bringing the resources to people, man. And especially I think about countries like Haiti. I really think Haiti has been since the slave revolt. They've been kind of like getting it, and I don't know if that's by design or what, but Haiti goes through it. But it's a beautiful place as well, and it's crazy that it's right on the other end of Dominican Republic, but you don't hear about those hardships over there. So I think
Yeah.
it's something to that. But yeah, it's just helping the people around the world.
Well, it's a great vision, and think it ties right into how we'll close with our last two poems. I'll go
Okay.
first, and this is actually on the other side of the Trump poem I read earlier, but it's so it goes love letter to omnipotent cosmos. Words are inadequate to describe insight you give me from dawn to darkest night, when new moon shares no illumination, making all blind to their situation. But still I am filled with respect for you as I pass my brief time on planet Earth, where I've yet to find permanent true love for whom I've searched since long ago birth. Which is not to say I've lacked amour, for I've had affairs with many females and have turned great summits into calm dales, but never found passion reaching my core, though I am patient enough to wait for my bride even if she shows up late.
Hmm. So when you gonna propose a rose, man?
Well, we've already like agreed to have a covenant of relationships, so
Okay.
we're already, I've been calling her my beloved betrothed for the last 2 years, so it's pretty much a fact.
Okay. Okay.
And when we do get married, it's going to be a big event.
Great. 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 Send me an invite.
Of
Um,
course, you're going to be one of the best men.
this is titled "Strong." All this time down, pushing up off the ground, fighting round after round, hoping for the future but sticking to the now. Strong, enduring all of this shit, putting up with it, sticking to the script, and never going to quit. Strong, steady pushing forward, looking up to the Lord, praying for open doors while sharpening my sword. Strong, masking my tears with sweat, knowing it ain't over yet, making sure I'm equipped and ready for success. Strong, not letting this break me, refusing to let it take me, not caring who hates me. All of this I've overcome makes me strong.
Cool. Well, we're almost exactly in an hour, so any sum up of how people can proceed from here, whether write down their goals or figure out what they want to do, or uh, you're the mentor in this one, Jamar. So
Well, that's
uh,
the beginning of it, definitely writing down the goals and creating a plan. But of course, action has to be put to it. And the next chapter that we'll be discussing in another episode is what's free, and so we'll go through that, explore what I've wrote, explore what people consider freedom, like what you were talking about today, freedom versus freedom. And I think that that'll be something that we can go into more. But it's just a matter of having like and Think and Grow Rich definite of purpose. But writing it down will increase, it being accomplished by 42%. Always remember that, people. And then just think big and dream because you'll be surprised. When they say shoot for the stars, you shoot for the moon, you'll be amongst the stars.
right,
That's
right.
crazy unless you're shooting way past the moon because I mean I like to say shoot from the stars, you'll be on be beyond the moon,
Well,
but you know
well, I always heard it the other way around: shoot for the stars, and you'll still make the moon.
okay, yeah, I've heard the shoot for the moon and you'll be amongst the stars, and I was just like I don't think
Right,
people really understood how that worked, but
right.
as far as where it is, but it's just go big, because even if you fall short of your goal, if your goal is huge, you still probably have accomplished a whole lot. But it's not even about not accomplishing it, like just knowing
And,
and believing that it will be done, and it will. That's
and,
right
and,
now what
and
we're doing. Excuse me, is speaking it into existence. We write it down, speak it into existence, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. Go ahead.
I just want to say, and test yourself, rather than like thinking of what's possible, think of what's impossible. And then, as I said today, the Dialena's reached the next level of acceleration, which is higher impossibility drives. So, don't limit yourself. Don't be small in your dreams. Set goals that that make you overwhelmed. That like scare you because they say those are the best dreams because those are the ones that you're scared of achieving, but they're the ones that you really desire.
Okay, okay. Well, I guess that's a conclusion from the con and the duck. You know.
Yes, sir. And thank you very much for joining us. Subscribe, leave any comments that you want, and we hope to see you next time. And thanks for attending. And Jamar, as always, a pleasure. And we'll see you pretty soon. We'll see you.
Likewise.
Okay, bye bye.